guys, Aaron here. Today we're going to be going over the replacement and diagnosis of a bad blower motor on a Nissan Titan. We will also be going over the replacement of a blower motor resistor, which is right next to the blower motor, and some diagnostic tests that you can perform to make sure that you're replacing the correct part that has failed. Now, this particular truck is a 2004 Nissan Titan LE with the manual climate control system. These Titans have two climate control systems that are available, the automatic or manual, and simply you could know by looking at the dashes. Some of them have dual climate control, and the blower motor itself is going to be the same. The only thing that's going to differ is the blower motor resistor part number, which I will include a link in the description so you can save some money and purchase the correct one for your application. So before we begin, let's go ahead and go over the tools and parts we're going to need to get the job done. Alright, so we'll need a 7mm socket, a 5.5mm socket, some kind of ratchet. This is just my Milwaukee cordless power ratchet, a test light or voltmeter, and I find a paper clip or any kind of pin connector works really well just to be able to jump the connector. Keep in mind, we want to jump the connector to verify we have both power and ground, and that ground is essential because the resistor controls the ground circuit on that blower motor. And of course, we're going to need the blower motor itself and the correct resistor for our application. This is what the manual climate control resistor looks like. The automatic climate control resistor has about 4 or 5 different heat sink fins on it. It's a lot larger, so make sure to get your correct one in the link below. Now, there's a couple common problems that I see with the climate control systems on these trucks. First one is obviously the failure of the blower motor itself, which we'll go over first in our diagnostic step, and then we'll test the blower motor resistor just to make sure it's giving out the proper voltages and doing its thing. What I see from the blower motor resistor a lot, since the blower motor resistor controls the ground side of the circuit, is it's stuck on high. If you look over here at your fan control, if your blower motor resistor is bad, generally what will happen is as soon as you turn it on, you'll have full speed and you won't really have these lower speeds. Any speed that you turn it on will be full. So let's go ahead and test for voltage at the connector of the blower motor. So here we are underneath the passenger footwell area, and blower motor's right here. So what we're going to do first is we're going to disconnect the connector that goes to the blower motor. Simply just depress the clip and slide it out. There it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to test for both power and ground at this connector. 12 volts all time switched goes to this connector, and then, like I said before, the resistor uses the ground side to alter the speed of the blower motor. So let's go ahead and set up our test light. So using a simple paper clip, let's go ahead and just insert the paper clip into one part of the connector. Make sure that you don't have these two pieces of metal touching. You'll short out the connector, and there we have it. The light brights up pretty bright. Now what we can do to test the resistor is turn down the blower motor, and you should see the light on the test light getting brighter. It's kind of hard to pick up on the camera, but it's definitely doing it. So that verifies our resistor is working good. So let's say if you ran that test and you have no power coming to that connector at all, generally it's going to be a fuse issue, and that fuse is located underneath the hood. So go ahead and take off the rear cover. I just took off this front cover just to give you better access, but take the rear cover off the fuse panel, and what we're looking for is this fourth 20 amp fuse right here. So if you count 4 positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to have your blower motor fuse right here, and it is yellow. And as you can see with our test light, we have power on both terminals of that fuse, indicating that the fuse is good. Alright, so starting with our 5.5mm and our 7mm sockets, let's go ahead and remove the blower motor. Using our 7mm, there's one bolt that holds this wiring harness to the motor. I'll swing it aside. Now with our 5.5, there's 3 bolts that hold the motor in to the HVAC control box. simply just drops down after that. Alright, from here it's pretty much reverse procedure for the blower motor. Make sure the blower motor is fully seated before you put any bolts in. Alright, last bolt is for the wiring harness. And then of course our connector. Now that we've put our blower motor in, let's go ahead and change out the resistor while we're here. To take off the connector, simply just depress the tab and pull down. Swing the harness out of the way. Now using our 5.5 millimeter, let's go ahead and remove the 2 bolts that hold it in. When installing this, just make sure you have the orientation correct. You basically want the snap of the connector facing outwards towards you. Now that we've finished installing everything, all that's left to do is to turn the system on and make sure that everything is operational. Feels pretty good. That pretty much sums it up, guys. I hope this video has helped you out. If it has, please like and subscribe. Make sure to check the links in the description for parts and your correct application. So thanks for watching again, guys, and see you next time.